You have no authority.
You're not gonna tell me what to do, motherfucker. You're not gonna get in my sheriff's face, just like you told me. You touch me. Don't you fucking touch me. You have a problem? You grabbed me.
Cops are trained to manage high-pressure situations, but what occurs when the tension stems from their own ranks? When a colleague or perhaps even a boss misbehaves, the consequences can be quite dramatic. Here are 3 astonishing instances where police turned against their own, beginning with the shocking event involving a sergeant and his chief. On November 9th, 2023, a standard traffic stop in Bradley Beach turned into an unpredictable and chaotic situation in the form of a clash between a police sergeant and his superior, Chief Leonard Gita. However, this wasn't an ordinary confrontation. It was a startling display of a leader utterly losing command in the presence of his team.
This entire confrontation began on November 9th, 2023, when Bradley Beach police officers stopped a car for a possible DUI. Unexpectedly, their department chief, Leonard Guida, arrived at the traffic stop intoxicated.
It began when police stopped a vehicle on the suspicion of DUI. The sergeant, overseeing the traffic stop, was performing his duties when unexpectedly, Chief Guida showed up at the location under the influence. His presence was instantly unsettling, and the officers sensed that the events were about to become unusual.
Why do you got a jacket on that's not fit to be worn? What's on the back of it?
What do you mean?
Look at it, tell me what's on the back of it.
It's washed off.
Yeah, then get rid of it.
Okay.
That's ridiculous.
Okay.
You're a sergeant, for God's sake.
Okay, Chief. Let me work this TWI, okay?
Instead of observing or offering assistance, the chief decided to address a trivial issue: the sergeant's jacket. Guida wasn't happy with the jacket's imprint, and rather than simply letting the matter go, he continued to confront the sergeant. The sergeant, trying to remain focused on his DUI investigation, explained the minor mistake, hoping to brush it off and continue with his work. But the chief wasn't done. He didn't just want to talk about the jacket, he was intent on making a scene.
Chief, I'm working. I don't have time to argue about a jacket, okay? Don't you touch me. Don't you touch me. Don't you fucking touch me. You have a problem? Fuck. You grabbed me. What? Now get out of here. Before you get a problem.
Take him in. Take him
No, you're going to go in.
Take him in.
Drunk again.
As the sergeant tried to get back to the task at hand, Guida unnecessarily raised the situation further. His comments became more aggressive, pushing the sergeant into an uncomfortable corner. The sergeant, who had seen his fair share of tense moments in his career, was growing frustrated but kept his cool. The chief, however, was spiraling, turning what should have been a routine interaction into a full-blown altercation. The chief, now completely disregarding the authority of the sergeant, grabbed him. This physical action crossed a line that no one, especially not a police chief, should have crossed. The sergeant, taken aback by the aggression, had no choice but to remind the chief that he was out of line as he in return grabbed him and backed him against the car. It was clear this wasn't just a momentary lapse in judgment. It was a breakdown in leadership, as it became clear the chief was drunk.
Get out of here.
No.
Chief, get out of here or you're going to get locked up.
No,
Chief, you're going to get locked up. You grabbed me. I asked you 3 times to leave me alone. You're obstructing my DWI.
Billy, come over here.
Let him go.
That's the first thing. Billy,
I'm trying to get away from everybody.
Shut up, because you're in trouble now. Stop,
I'm not in
please,
trouble.
Stop,
I'm not in trouble.
Stop.
You're going to be in trouble.
Stop,
You're gonna be
Billy.
in trouble.
Billy.
Chief, I'm
Billy,
working at DWI.
I'm listening to you.
Okay.
Shut up.
No.
You're in trouble because this is the first thing. First of all, I was about to say to you, you stupid. I was about to say to you, what do you need OEM for?
You're embarrassing me in front of the men about the jacket.
No. That's neither here nor there.
Okay.
That's neither here nor there. Now we got a real fucking problem, Billy.
Yeah, we do.
Amid all the drama, the sergeant managed to maintain his professionalism, warning the chief, Guida, to leave the scene or risk being arrested. The reason was clear. The chief had physically grabbed the sergeant and obstructed an ongoing DUI investigation. However, instead of stepping down, the chief, addressing the sergeant dismissively as Billy, declared that it was the sergeant who would soon be in trouble. Unshaken and firm in his stance, the sergeant, fully aware that he had done nothing wrong, fired back, pointing out that it was Guida who was digging himself into a deeper hole. Slurring his words and clearly under the influence, he attempted to assert his authority, rambling on about explaining why the sergeant needed an OEM. but the sergeant stood his ground, calmly yet firmly, calling Gita out for embarrassing him over something as small as a jacket in front of their colleagues.
You should know better than this, my friend.
No.
Listen to me.
Grab me.
No, I said
You were
come
out of
over
line.
here.
You were out of line. You grabbed me. It's on video.
Billy,
It's on video. I'm not going to argue with it. I have a crash
Billy,
to work.
Billy,
I have a job
Billy,
to do.
You're
okay?
relieved. Billy, you're relieved.
No, Chief.
No, Billy. Please, Billy, don't. You're suspended, Billy.
I'm
You're
suspended?
Yes.
Okay. I'm suspended. I'm going home.
Yes. Billy, come here.
I'm going home.
No,
We can't
no,
talk. I'm suspended.
No.
No, I'm suspended. I'm
You're
going
to headquarters
home.
and you're going to wait for me there.
No, I'm not. I'm suspended. I'm going home.
You're going to headquarters. You're going to wait for me there.
Let me work my crash.
No,
this is why I'm here.
Billy, you're suspended.
All right, if I'm suspended, then I'm not going to wait inside. Nothing more to say.
No, Billy. You have to. Let me explain. Billy, you're suspended.
The chief, still clinging to his authority, asserted that the sergeant shouldn't be taking any action while he was present at the scene. When the sergeant pointed out that he had physically grabbed him, Gita tried to justify his actions by claiming, "I said, come over here." Confident that the entire incident had been captured on video, Billy decided not to waste any more time arguing. Instead, he reminded the chief that he had a crash scene to handle and turned his focus back to his duties. Then came the moment that would have shattered any other officer's composure. Gita abruptly announced that Billy was suspended. Without missing a beat, Billy calmly accepted the decision, responding with a straightforward, "If I'm suspended, I'm going home," and began to walk away. But the chief wasn't ready to let it go. He called after Billy, attempting to bring him back into the fray. However, Billy remained resolute, telling him that if he was suspended, there was nothing more to discuss. Undeterred, Gita barked out one final instruction, demanding that Billy head to headquarters and wait for him there. Billy, however, had already made it clear his time and his integrity wouldn't be wasted.
See what happened there?
Yes, Chief.
What happened?
Some type of exchange between you and Sergeant Major.
We're going to talk about that later. Everybody's got that. Billy's suspended.
As the sergeant left the scene, Gita refused to let up. The chief's intoxication only fueled his sense of power, and he attempted to intimidate the junior officers on the scene. He even went so far as to try to manipulate their testimonies, trying to twist the situation in his favor. But the chief's arrogance quickly backfired. The officers weren't willing to play along with his delusions of power.
His powers failed him as he was placed on administrative leave pending investigations into his actions that day by the Monmouth County Prosecutor's Office. The sergeant resumed work the following day.
In the aftermath of the confrontation, the fallout was swift and inevitable. The chief, Gita, was placed on administrative leave, and an investigation by the Monmouth County Prosecutor's Office was launched into his actions. His behavior that night was deemed unacceptable. Meanwhile, the sergeant was able to return to work the next day. It was a reminder of power gone wrong. When authority is abused, the results can be catastrophic. If you thought this was shocking, wait until you hear about the sergeant who turned his aggression in a way that left everybody stunned. November 19th, 2021 began as a typical day for the Sunrise Police Department, but it quickly turned into a shocking display of excessive force by Sergeant Christopher Pulse. Pulse, known for his tough demeanor, was making an arrest on a suspect who had been resisting orders. But what happened next was something no one could have anticipated. Pulse didn't just subdue the suspect, he nearly choked out one of his own colleagues to death in the process.
Watch your head getting into the car.
Ah, miss, can you stop pulling the car?
Just get in the car and you'll be fine.
Get in the car. Get in the car. Get in the car. Oh my wrist. Once you get in the car, she'll let go. So watch the steady foot.
So just get in the car. All right, just get in the car.
Can y'all just tell her to stop?
Okay, get in the car. Then.
Get in the car.
Just get in the car.
All right, I'm getting in.
Get your feet in. Hey, look at me. Look at me. Look at me. You want to play games? You're playing with the wrong mother.
What you gotta do, man? You gonna mace me, mace me.
Look at me, mother. You want to play games? You ever get disrespectful with my officers, I will remove your soul from your body.
Watch your head. Get in the car. Pulse barked at the suspect. His voice was filled with frustration. As a female officer had the suspect in handcuffs and was trying to place him in the car, the suspect was voicing his concerns, claiming the officer was pulling him by the cuffs. But what happened next was beyond belief. As the suspect continued to resist, Pulse's patience seemed to snap as he continued to shout at the suspect, saying things like, "You're playing with the wrong mother." This was all because, according to the officer, the suspect was getting disrespectful with his fellow officers.
Do what you gotta do.
No. Just let it be.
I don't understand that.
We clear?
Yes, sir.
That, please.
And I'll see you in about 5 minutes.
However, Pulse's aggression escalated. The junior officer, attempting to help and calm the situation, was caught in the line of fire. Pulse, in a fit of rage, grabbed the officer by the neck, choking her in a shocking act of violence. The young officer was in serious danger, struggling to breathe as Pulse's grip tightened, and he even threatened her and almost pepper sprayed. Meanwhile, the suspect, who had been the focus of the arrest, was forgotten in the chaos. "I'll see you in 5 minutes," Pulse shouted, but his attention was no longer on the suspect. The officer's colleagues watched in disbelief as Pulse's actions turned from controlling the suspect to attacking his own. The junior officer, who had simply tried to intervene, was now facing the full wrath of the sergeant's anger, while the suspect placed in the police car was ready to leave. It was clear at that moment that Pulse had completely lost control of the situation, and his behavior was no longer just unprofessional, it was criminal.
He was charged with battery and assault on a law enforcement officer, assault on a civilian, and tampering with evidence by deleting texts threatening officers who witnessed the incident to remain silent.
Sergeant Pulse faced serious consequences for his actions. He was charged with multiple counts including battery and assault on a law enforcement officer, assault on a civilian, and tampering with evidence. It was revealed that Pulse had tried to delete text messages threatening officers who witnessed the incidents, urging them to remain silent about the shocking display of violence. This is a reminder of the consequences of unchecked aggression and abuse of power within law enforcement. The consequences of this incident would be felt long after the dust settled, from chaos within a team to a full-on interagency showdown. Get ready, because the drama only intensifies. On January 30th, 2024, an everyday traffic stop in Lexington, North Carolina, quickly changed into a tense confrontation that nearly spiraled out of control. The Lexington police officer had pulled over a vehicle, exceeding the speed limit. Expecting the usual interaction with a civilian, what he didn't expect was to be face to face with a man who outranked him by a long shot. Cleveland County Sheriff Chris Amison.
Hello.
I'm going to SWAT call out.
Okay, so this is Podio. Could you do an 85 and a 55?
I was going.
Going where?
Call out.
Where we going?
SWAT call out right over here.
I didn't know we had one.
We have an armed guy barricaded in the house. Used to be a police officer.
Where at?
Right down here on.
Here in Lexington?
Yeah.
We have an armed person we don't know about. All right, I'll call our chief and let him know.
The officer approached the car, unaware of who was behind the wheel, until Sheriff Amison revealed he was rushing to a SWAT call. "I was going 85 and a 55 because I'm going to a SWAT call," Amison explained. The officer, clearly surprised, was even more taken aback when he learned that the Lexington Police Department had no knowledge of the ongoing situation and the fact that there was an armed person. This oversight prompted the officer to make a call to his chief, Ronnie Johnson.
Captain Tom? Captain Hawk? Yeah. Where's command? Excuse me, sir. What's going on? We realize that I'd like to know what's going on in my own damn city. We would have notified you, sir. We would have? Yeah. Well, hold on. I've been at the city. I've been down there at the PD all day. Let's go this way. The call, it says Lexington was notified, they refused to respond because they don't call. Go down here, guys. Okay, I don't know who the said that. First of all, sir, I know you're the chief. I'm just telling you I don't appreciate all of this going on and nobody notified me a damn thing about it.
Just 4 minutes later, both the officer and Chief Johnson arrived at the standoff location, but instead of finding a calm situation, they were greeted by a very heated atmosphere. Chief Johnson, clearly upset at being left out of the loop, immediately confronted Amison's deputies. "Excuse me, sir, what the hell is going on here?" Chief Johnson demanded. His frustration was obvious as he tried to get information about the standoff in his own city. "I would like to know what's going on in my own damn city," he continued. But it seemed that the communication breakdown was deeper than just a missed call. As tensions were already high due to the standoff, Amison's deputies began to walk away from the heated exchange. However, the officer with the body camera wasn't done yet. His sense of duty, mixed with a hint of defiance, led to a shocking confrontation. "You can't talk about Chief like that, sir," the officer said, his voice rising. "You can get the hell out of my face. I don't care who you are," was the deputy lieutenant's response. What followed was a jaw-dropping clash of egos between two law enforcement officers, neither willing to back down. "This is my county too," the deputy lieutenant insisted as he continued to face off, who wasn't taking kindly to the exchange. "Back up, man. Chill out. Everything is gonna be okay." The lieutenant's team member came in between their clash.
You have no authority.
You're not gonna tell me what to do, mother. You're not gonna get in my sheriff's face, just like you told me.
Get your hands off me, man. Back up, Johnny.
Pull him back.
No, he
Even
just
the
came up
sheriff's
to my
face.
face and said the same
He's
shit.
getting ready to go to jail.
Stop.
He's getting ready to go to jail.
Stop.
Back off. This is an operation. This is my county. Understand?
Oh yeah, perfectly clear.
Don't deny.
Perfectly clear. Come on.
The situation escalated further as the lieutenant refused to back down, pushing the officer. "You're not gonna tell me what to do, m***er," the officer shot back, saying the officer shouldn't be getting in the sheriff's face. At this critical moment, Chief Johnson intervened, stepping in to pull his officer back before the situation could escalate further. Sheriff Emerson, equally unwilling to back down, told them to leave. The tension in the air was palpable as both sides refused to yield. "You need to back off. This is our operation," the lieutenant team told the officers, who seemed more than ready to stand their ground. Though the confrontation did not end in violence, it was clear that there were deeper, unresolved tensions between the two agencies. The incident ended with both sides walking away. No violence, but with bruised egos and a clear reminder of how power struggles can shake the very foundation of law enforcement cooperation, because the lines between agency and ego are often thinner than we think. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the chaos behind the badge, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss more unbelievable cases.